Good morning, everyone. At this time, it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage the head of Global Service, Mr. Denny Dermis.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, better than that. Good morning, everyone. There we go. There we go. How many people enjoyed the boat cruise last night? Yes. I thought it was a great foresight by Alan to have the dolphins brought in for us. It was, hopefully everybody had a chance to see them, but thought it was a nice touch, Alan. Thank you. Thank you. But thought yesterday was a great day. We have another great day planned for us. Yesterday we started with Jörg Reinhardt talking about Bear Healthcare and the strategy and vision. Alan followed with talking about 2011, how we performed independently, and what our key objectives were for 2012. We had our three customers in, Dr. Dave, Dr. Provenzale, and Paul Monahan. I thought that was actually an excellent session. A lot of great insight from them with regards to what their expectations are of us, how we need to stay ahead of the market and competition, as well as really making sure we don't take our eye off kind of the long-term vision, because that's important and easy for us to kind of stay focused on what we're doing today. We then moved into the ideation work streams, and I've changed the order to service, packaging, and then informatics. So with service, we talked about Bayazon and a lot of good ideas there. I thought the packaging session was very well. Actually, it was some utterly brilliant ideas. Oh, come on, huh? Okay, but a lot of good ideas there with regards to pre-fills and those types of things. So a lot of great concepts that I know I'm looking forward to, and obviously informatics, a lot of opportunity for us to take advantage of across the globe. So a lot of good things there. We then had the just make sure I'm not missing something here. We had the first 100 days of R&I, where we had the panel up here talking about what we've done, what we've accomplished, some of the challenges we've overcome, some of the things we need to continue to do. I thought it was a good dialogue with regards to making sure everybody was on the same page. John closed the session by talking about the great discounting that's going on in Canada. Oh, sorry, Lita. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. But and then certainly we had the Power of One activity, and the painting session I thought was great. Anybody else enjoy it? Did anybody other than my service colleagues have more paint on them than on the canvases? No? Okay. Good. But we do have a packed day today, so I appreciate everyone's attention yesterday. I think we're going to have a great session today, so a lot of good things. We're going to start off by shared purpose. So you see the World Cafe layout here, so it should be a fun session. That's going to take us really all the way up to lunch today. Then we're going to move into innovation as one, the running of R&I with regards to governance. We'll have a break. We'll have a Q&A with the management team then, kind of to close out the day. And then commitment to R&I and wrap up by Alan. And then we'll have our closing dinner and in the hospitality suite again. So a reminder, cue cards, questionnaires. We'll accept these up to lunch today, so please make sure to fill them out. And I want to be very clear, easy questions for service. Okay? All right. Good. So with that, we're going to kick off today by talking about what gets us up in the morning from a business perspective. And to start the session today will be Alan Main.
Thank you very much, Denny. Good morning, everybody. I brought my green tea with me because I'm not sure if it's up there. Oh, yes, it is, so that's okay. Good. Well, welcome to the World Cafe. Slightly different setup today, just trying to mix things up a little bit, do things a little bit differently. This session is really, I think, a very fundamental part of what R&I is going to be all about. There's been a lot of work done on the run-up through the integration and everything else in terms of trying to understand issues like what are the missions, what's the purpose. And I really wanted to take some opportunity today with this group to really set some of these activities in context. Because potentially, if you have too many messages going out into the organization, it can be confusing or complex, and people kind of try to understand, well, what does all of this really mean? And So we thought it was a good idea when we had everybody here in Florida to take just some time out to get the best brains in R&I together and really understand, well, what is our shared purpose overall for being in R&I? So we're going to spend this morning, facilitated by two gentlemen who have run many such exercises, which is how do we collect great ideas from a large number of people and try to distill them down into something very simple and very powerful. So that's really what we're trying to get out of this session. It's going to be run in a very kind of structured way, but it's also going to be some fun. And I'm sure at the end we're going to come out with something that's very, very powerful. But just to set the context a little bit on the broader setting, I mean, we know that we have within Bayer some very strong values, something that was launched with the arrival of our new CEO and chairman, Marianne Deckers, as it replaced our old values and leadership principles. I think we all have embraced and understood life, the life values. We also have overall the mission for Bayer, Science for a Better Life. And I think, again, we all embrace and understand that, and that's used often as a way of describing across the multiple subgroups of Bayer and the different businesses what we're all about. We use that to communicate externally and so on. So all of those are clear, and they continue to be part of what we do every day. But there's also some things that we need to decide upon specifically for R&I. How do we communicate both internally and externally what it is we are all about? And as Denny said, why do we get up in the morning, and what difference are we going to make in the world? And that is something which I call purpose. And you see that at the center of what I call the R&I compass up here. And that's surrounded by things like the values, the strategic and operational priorities that we set, and I ran through some of those yesterday at the end of my presentation. Brand promises, of course, those are also important to us, as well as, of course, the vision which we worked on as part of the integration planning. And I also know that there's been a lot of work gone on in the regions and in some of the functions as you start to develop your management teams and your way of operating, that you've also done some great work in Europe and other places to really establish what it is those management teams are going to contribute. So none of that effort is wasted. It's absolutely the right thing to be doing. But again, because we had the opportunity to bring so many of you together here for this meeting, I wanted to wait before establishing the purpose so that we could get input from everybody, so that everybody feels involved and included as we develop the purpose. Now, I've had some experience of working with purpose before, both at a corporate level and at a personal level. So it's something that I believe very strongly in terms of the power it can have in transforming organizations into really high-performance teams. And I've also worked with the two gentlemen before through the Global Coaching Group, in particular Sean Leclerc, who's going to be following me straight after this to give you an overview of what purpose is and some examples of what purpose has done. We used Sean as part of our diabetes care global leadership team, and he also helped us develop a very strong and very powerful purpose for that business. So the purpose for diabetes care is to inspire people to change the face of diabetes, which is a very strong, very powerful purpose, and has really helped to ignite a lot of excitement within the diabetes care organization. Again, this is not meant to be an advertising slogan or a buzzword, and it's not actually something we want to put on big posters. This is something that our customers should feel when they interact with anybody from the R&I organization. It's also something that people within the rest of the organization should sense when we talk about the R&I business. So it's really fundamental. It's our, if you like, our North Star as a company. And everything else that we do should support and enhance the purpose. So again, you can probably tell that this is something very important to me in terms of establishing how we're going to move forward as a business. So it's going to be a really exciting session. I'm looking forward to it. I mentioned that the two gentlemen are going to help us, Sean and Jay, and they have specialty in a number of different areas. Sean, as I mentioned, helped support us from the Global Coaching Group in our executive leadership development. He has a lot of experience working with senior teams and has been a great support for me personally as I transitioned into my new role. Sean also is an author, a poet, and has done many, many things. I know you will have read his bio. Jay, also from the Global Coaching Group, is an expert in running World Cafe events like this, as well as, of course, many other things. You saw his bio. So I think we're going to be in very good hands today. So I would ask you just to allow the gentleman to take us through how the process is going to work, a little bit more understanding of what the purpose is. And we will be checking in with you all throughout the day. It's also going to be quite an active session, so we'll be asking you not just to sit at one table for the whole day, we'll be moving people around. Unfortunately, in this cafe, there's no Wi-Fi service, so I need to ask you not to have laptops open and mobile phones on and all that stuff. We will have breaks so you can catch up with the outside world, but just for this morning, I really like you to be present here because this is very important work, and I really want to hear what you all have to say in terms of what we can do together as an R&I leadership team. So with that, I'm going to ask Sean to join me on the stage, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about the purpose in a broader sense and some of his experience. So, Sean Leclerc.
Good morning. I caught a group of you going out to the boat last night, maybe 30 or 40 people, and the buzz was very, I don't know, it was alive, vital, happy, and easy. So that's nice. It's not always like that when we show up at these type of meetings. Let me see, where to start? Okay. So essentially, what we're here to do this morning is to support you and help you to discover and create a shared purpose. And as Alan said, using the World Cafe conversation, it's going to be a conversation. Essentially what we're really doing, I thought about it a lot, as Alan said, I'm a poet, how do I say it very succinctly? So we're here to honor the part and serve the whole. Honor the part that is you, R&I, and serve the whole, Bear. That's what we're here to do. And I'm going to talk for about 20, 25 minutes to give you a frame of what we mean by the words shared purpose and why they're important. And then I'm going to turn it over to Jay, and he's going to help you through the actual process. And it's really quite a bit of fun. It's quite enjoyable. It's an easy, different kind of experience. I've been working with Bear now for about, I think about almost 4 years with different business units, and mostly in medical care. And what I've noticed about your peers, and I'm assuming about yourselves, is that you could pretty much, you've got the experience as individuals and the education, and thus you've got the intelligence and skill to work anywhere you want in pretty much any industry. But yet you've chosen a long time ago, some of you, I just met a man who's been here for 34 years. I mean, that's amazing. You've chosen to work in life science. You've chosen to work in healthcare. And there's a reason for that, because you could go anywhere you want. And that reason is what we call purpose. It points to a purpose, deeper purpose. I'm sure there's many benefits you get for working here, lots of fun. But basically, and there's a lot of rewards. I'm sure the compensation's quite good. But you work in a group that essentially keeps hearts pumping and blood flowing freely. Is that safe to say? That's what you do, more or less. I mean, lots of different ways of doing it, but that's what you do. So, what is shared purpose? What do we mean by that? Alan alluded to it. We mean this. Purpose is a deep-seated impulse to make a difference in the world. It's an impulse, a desire, something that you care deeply about. It's an animating idea that flows through everything. So it's animating in the sense that if you look inside yourself or you listen carefully to each other when you're talking, you can hear it. It's vibrating, it's pulsing, it's there. You just have to take some time to step back to capture it. And that's what we're going to do today. And it flows through everything, all domains of the business. So it's not a marketing idea. A lot of people will, or a sales idea, they'll say it's a marketing, it's not. Or a regional idea. Now it may come, it's going to come from somewhere, it's going to come from you. But it's a company idea. And that's an important distinction to make. It's something that everyone in the company knows about, feels, and lives. Another thing we like to say is that it's the heart and soul of why you do what you do. Why? What has a lot to do with mission and strategy and tends to change based on market conditions and many other factors. But why you do it tends to stay the same. It's very personal, but it can be shared. And we're going to help you to discover that today. And it shows up when you're at your very best as a person, as a leader, in that order. As a person first, a man or a woman, and as a leader. And that's what we're asking of you. Your very best to come forward. Whatever that looks like, whatever it is, it's fine. I've thought a lot about this. I've been working with purpose for almost 30 years in various capacities, as a teacher, a lot of different ways. Not all companies have a purpose. Matter of fact, most don't, in the way that we're using the word shared purpose. You take a company in the US like, what's their name? Financial guys. Enron. They're notorious for having a purpose. 3 of their leaders are in prison now, serving long sentences because their purpose was greed. Greed's not a purpose. Or even a lesser sort of dramatic example would be Kodak, right? Everyone knows Kodak worldwide, pretty good. So in the late 70s, Kodak had a 96% share of the camera and film market. They were living and breathing a dynamic purpose. By the late 90s, Kodak sat frozen with fear and didn't have a clue what to do. They'd forgotten their purpose. They were under attack by technological innovation they didn't even understand. And if I think I'm right, but they're bankrupt, aren't they? Okay, I wasn't sure. 2 examples. The thing about purpose is that not all companies have a purpose, but this is something that's been studied by a lot of people, this next statement. But all great ones do. And a lot of people study this, look at the data, the business data, and then analyze why. Why do all great ones do? What do they do with the purpose? A shared purpose will lift you out of the day-to-day grind. I asked one of your peers the other day, I do some private coaching with some of the executives in BioShare, and I almost. And I said, how are you? How's it been? Normally we work every 2 weeks, on the phone. And it had been 5 weeks. And he said, it's unholy out there. Quote, it's unholy. And I probed, being a coach, what does that mean? And he was talking about the travel. His travel is so much like the day-to-day grind, just the travel you go through. When you have a purpose and you're living and breathing it, you can step out of the day-to-day grind. When you're merging 2 cultures, you're going to have headaches. Is anybody having system headaches, little headaches that come up, natural problems? With a purpose, you can take a longer view on things. Purpose will help you stay steady in an ever-changing marketplace if you know it and it's in your body. It will help you to foster innovation. You've got success, from what I could tell, the information I've been given by Alan and the senior management team. You guys have been doing really well. but you can do even better. There's no doubt about it. You can create a buzz that other people want to come and work here. It's a talent magnet. When you really start to get what purpose is, people feel it and they go, what are you guys up to? You can start to fly together in one direction as individuals. That's what starts to happen with these great companies. It just naturally happens. I have a friend who's the CEO of the fourth largest, actually it's fifth largest railroad in the US. Shouldn't have said that because you might be able to figure out who he is. Anyways, he thinks the purpose is the balance sheet, Sean. It's all about profit. And I keep telling him, yes, of course you have a responsibility to your shareholders, but profit's a natural byproduct of a deep purpose. Profit alone has never sustained any business, not alone. There's a lot more going on in your hearts and souls as leaders to sustain business. I want to give an example of one company that's been studied by thousands of people. Why is Disney so great? Is it great? You might have a personal opinion, but here's some data to back it up. Companies in industries all over the world go to them to learn how they're so great. They run a leadership clinic it's a training program. Why do they go there? They must know something. They're not even in the same industry. Disney was started in 1923 by two brothers. It has a $73 billion market cap. It has become the largest media conglomerate in the world by revenue. And in the last 86 years, their average return on equity has been 13.8%. What's going on with these guys? I'd like to show you something and why most people in our business believe they are a great company. Because they know how to change. And they've done so about every 10 years. In the beginning, they're into cartoons, right? Mickey Mouse, the Roadrunner, me, if it catches you, you're through. Right? That's what they're all about. And then they shifted into full-length feature animation. They changed. They got into television for about a decade, Mickey Mouse Club. Always shifting their strategies. Theme parks became really big. They went international. All the focus was there for a long time. Cruise lines, so they're branching out. Innovation. Then Steve Jobs got involved. Pixar, Toy Story, constantly shifting, nimble. What did they preserve? What's never changed? Their passion for creative imagination has never shifted. They have this fanatic attention to detail. It actually drives people crazy. And they absolutely hate cynicism. Those are their three values, just like your life values. You have four, they have three. They've never changed the brand. It's sacrosanct, it's sacred. The Disney magic never gets changed. And underneath it all, 4 words is their purpose, created by the two brothers. Bring happiness to millions. That's what they're all about. They look through that lens when they make decisions. That's what they do. Bring happiness to millions is Disney's purpose, and it's the foundation, their shared purpose of all of their activities. Let's look at a couple of others, just a few others. Walmart. You love them or hate them. I don't actually like them that much, but I'm willing to put them up there because they have a great purpose. Certainly an industry that's done a lot in the world. And here's their purpose: to save people money so they can live better. And they actually take save money, live better, and use it in their advertising. They actually took it right out, so they don't have to pay the ad agency $300,000 or $400,000 to write their tagline, right? Very powerful company. Again, love them or hate them, they know what they're doing. They're constantly driving down prices so people can save money and live better. That's what they're all about. How about BMW? I'm just curious in this, who's ever driven a BMW or owns one? Can you show of hands? Yes, listen, look at it. It's always so high in this audience. Right. What's BMW's? What's their purpose? Let's take a shot. A few people, 2 or 3 people. I'm patient, I'll wait. Sorry? Could you speak? Fun to drive. Interesting. That's certainly got a feeling, the brand feelings there, absolutely. Ooh, the ultimate driving experience. Getting pretty close. Another ad campaign. Let's go for the purpose. Dig deeper. We're on the brand now. Let's get into the purpose. But you're right there. You can go through brand to get the purpose, which is what both of you are doing. One more person. What's the purpose? Start with 2. Think of the customer. One more person. Joy of driving. Ah, thank you. Yeah, very close. What is it? To enable people to experience the joy of driving. A cigar. But that's their purpose. Very clear, isn't it? You can see how it's a company idea, right? It's an overarching idea. Here's one of my favorite. Whether you're in Berlin, which I was just there, lovely property. Beautiful city. I'd never been to Berlin. It's so amazing. I was so happy there. I was just artistically phenomenal to me. Those 3 churches right in front of the Berlin Hilton. Or if you're in Chicago, right? Hilton is only about this. Be hospitable. All their training programs are drilled down on being hospitable. 2 words. Everybody gets it. You feel it when you're there. And if they have problems with service, they drill down on it very quickly to honor that. One more example. Microsoft. I was involved with this group for about 2 years. They were not starting from where you are when we got the purpose. You're starting from success. You're starting from pretty strong energy. They were starting broken, angry, upset, ignored in a paranoid culture. Okay? And they're in the CRM business, this one particular division, and we worked hard. They came up with a purpose I thought was marvelous because they had lost their confidence, and their clients thought they'd lost their confidence, and they didn't have any confidence to create the financial management tools. They were losing a lot of share. And they came up with a simple one. Simplify with confidence. That's what they became about. And it worked. Sorry? Now they are. In one, but not the company. Yeah, it's just one division within the company. Okay, it's not the whole company. It's just one little business unit, a $400 million piece of business in the CRM business. So discovering purpose, there's many ways to do it. And I thought I'd share with you. We'd just share a few, okay? You can revisit your heritage and talk to the founders. It works great. It's a powerful way to do it. We're not doing it that way today, but you may have some ideas. If some of you knew the founders, bring them to the conversation. The magnetism and force of a heroic leader, like Jack Ma, right? Alibaba in China, he's incredible. He is incredible. Stephen Jobs, not with us anymore, incredible. Whenever we start a project, we talk to the leaders, not just Alan, but the whole team, and we have conversation. And I was talking to Sam Liang, and Sam and I got into a very rich conversation, and he said, you didn't know I was going to talk about you, did you, Sam? He said, you know, Sean, I don't think the magnetism and force of a heroic leader is a good approach to discovering purpose anymore because the world's moving too fast. The accelerated pace of scientific change, breakthrough and innovation, it's too complex for one person. And I said, God, I like this guy already. It's like, yeah, I agree with you. Now, I've known Alan for about 3 years, and Alan's always believed in the collective intelligence of, as opposed to one person. It doesn't mean leaders don't make choices and declarations and decisions, but as a group, you can dive deeper, and it can be more powerful and more clear. So we're not using that way. Values inquiry. Values you have. Values are the soil that the purpose grows in. When you start to get into the conversation with Jay, think about it. If you've personalized some of the life values, then access that power, that behavior. Show it, demonstrate it, speak from it. If you have your own personal values that have nothing to do with Medrad, nothing to do with Bear, but it's yours as a leader, use that in the conversation. Bring it out. That will work. Normally, we do top-down. Senior management declares. Guy like me and Jay shows up. We go to a room. We go for 2 days. We bang it out. We work on it. Sometimes it takes longer. And then they declare it. But your SMT is giving you a gift because they trust you and they respect you enough for them to sit side by side with you and you to do it together, which is for Jay's perspective, because he's the one who's going to facilitate this. I'm going to support him, but he's the master at helping that to happen. That's what we want. No one person or 12 people are smarter than 110 that can feel and think deeper than 110 people. That's just not possible. So that's how we're going to discover it today. The approach is called The Best and the Brightest. It's in a book, The Best and the Brightest. That's you, right? You're in a book. That's why you're here. There'll be inquiry. I'm going to take you through some private journaling in a minute, okay? Just a little bit to get it started, just sort of till the soil. We're asking you to bring passion. Doesn't mean to be exuberant. A lot of people I know who are passionate are very quiet, but allow it to come out. It's okay. Please. Creative tension is good. Healthy creative tension. An open and honest conversation together will be, that's all it takes. And we'll end up, you'll have a shared purpose. We will not have consensus. Have you ever been in a room, Jay, where every one person agreed? Right. We'll know the direction. It'll be clear. We'll come up with one or two. We'll see. We're not looking for every person to agree, but we're looking for every person to contribute and every person to be heard. Mix it up. Just before I kind of ask you to do a little personal writing, I just want to share something that may probably, anyways, a great leader with purpose. I've spent most of my life, I come from a rugged background where there's not a lot of opportunity where I come from. And I've always been interested in the human capacity as opposed to the condition. So the ability to basically love, have mutual regard, as opposed to be fearful. And I've seen my fair share of fear-based people and companies in my life. And along the way, I've been blessed to meet, because I've studied leadership, and I've been blessed to meet some pretty interesting people. And this one man is a great leader with purpose that some of you might know, Mahatma Gandhi. And he's personal to me because I know two people who know him. I know his grandson. When I met his grandson, we got into a conversation. His grandson's carrying on his work. His name's Arun Gandhi. And I said, what was your grandpa's purpose? And I explained what I meant. He said, oh, that was easy. It was be the change. That's all he said. And then you see sometimes slogans, be the change you want to see in the world, yeah? And I said, okay, but what was his core strategy? How did he do that? He said, it's passive resistance. And he explained all that to me. And it was very moving. And I said, well, what was his vision? He said, free India. Purpose fulfilled, the vision is to free India. The vision is something fulfilled. You have it up on the board earlier, your vision. It's the purpose fulfilled within a reasonable time frame. And that's not really why I put this up there. There was about 3 or 4 years after I met Arun, I met a man who became my teacher who lived with Gandhi in Sevagram in India. He's a Fulbright scholar, Eknath Esawaran, studied at Berkeley, taught at Berkeley. And he told me something that shocked me. He said that when Gandhiji was young, he was afraid of the dark, and he was awkward because he had these big ears, and he's kind of goofy looking, right? And he was basically a mama's boy, you know? He was a mama's boy. It was not a compliment, right? And he was so frail and nervous and anxious that when he became a lawyer, he couldn't actually litigate. He couldn't talk in the courtroom. So I'm like listening to this, and I went, wow, he was a loser. And he went, what? And I said, he was a total loser who became a saint. That's so intense. And he said, yeah, you could put it that way, Sean. And the reason I'm sharing this with you is that in each person, we can't all be Gandhis and operate on a world stage, but in every one of us, there is that spark of greatness. And all of you are leaders, and people will follow you. They follow you. That's what they do. Bring the spark inside you today. If you have skepticism, great. But if you contract, you feel a little fear in the conversation, open the lens. Say what you have to say. Get it on together. Have fun. Then it'll come forward, okay? Really play with this. So I'd like you to just take a moment and do something to kind of get us going, okay? There's a Trump notepad for everyone. And I just want to take you through 3 simple questions to start the process. And I really, and you write with just the regular pen, just a regular pen. Please know that this is just for you, okay? You don't have to share what you're writing. You can stick it in your pocket or your purse, and you can use it in the conversation if you want to. But you don't have to share what you're writing. It's private, okay? Good. So I want to ask you a question. Is everybody ready? Just the first question. As a person, what do you believe in? Just free write. What do you believe in? As a man or a woman? Yes, you're leaders, but I'm just saying, as a man or a woman, what do you believe in? We all have beliefs. What do you believe in? Just free associate, whatever's there, just let it come up. What do you believe in? Just give you another 30 seconds for that question. And if something else comes up later, it's okay. Again, this is just private for yourselves, yeah? Now, as a leader, here in the R&I space, radiology, interventional, diagnostics, in this space. As a leader, what are you deeply passionate about? Next question. Different question, a little more contained. What are you deeply passionate about as a leader in the space you operate in every day? Hopefully only 5 or 6 days a week, not 7. And a last question. Why does radiology and interventional exist? Some private thoughts about that. Why does it exist? So we'll take another 30 seconds or so for that last question. And then just tuck those away. They're yours, you know. Draw on them in the conversation if you need to. It's up to you. So the shared purpose, the purpose is written for all the stakeholders who wake up every morning to fulfill the purpose in some way, shape, or form. All the stakeholders. So the truck drivers deliver the equipment, medical people, everyone. Your suppliers, your joint venture partners. Customers should feel it. Alan said it earlier. They feel it. You don't have to tell them. They know. They'll tell you. After you've been living it a while, they'll tell you. It's unassailable. It's an innate to this group of people right here, to you. It's an essential characteristic of you today, right now. It's undisputable. When you catch it and tap it, you'll know. One word must be a verb. This is the frame we're using. Jay's going to take you through the process, but here's the frame. One word has to be a verb because we're in business and we're actually on Earth. Earth is the plane of action. All right? clearly it must have a tone of service. That's a given, right? It has to be crystal clear and easy to remember. That makes it a little harder. I've been with groups, which I doubt this will be one, but I do say this, where they've created purpose that is kind of like what I call corporate gobbledygook. And it's just hard, can't understand what they're saying. Keep it simple. Clear and easy to remember. And here's a tough one. I'm not sure my colleagues agree with me on this, but here's the last one. It has to be expressed in 5 words or less. Now, some of you might be saying, well, wait a minute, buddy. Walmart's was like 9 words. But something I found out about really intelligent people along the way, which I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you are, because I know damn well you are, is that less is more. Okay? Don't overthink this. All right? Less is more. It's more powerful. The more intelligent you are, the more refined your intellect, the harder it is to get at purpose. If you only use your intellect, you'll be looking at this, like this. Got to expand out a little bit. Just before I give it to Jay, just put your hand up like this. Just make not a fist, but like maybe you have a tiny little, I don't know, little bird in there, like that, right? That's about the size of a human heart, isn't it? More or less? Certainly in the right crowd to be asking. So just bring this and place it where your heart is, except open the palm. Feel your heart. It's right about, right? Across. I'm a little low. Right here. Thank you. Feel your heart. Because you're going to have to feel as deeply as you can think. Because I know you can think very deeply. I get this. You're going to have to feel as deeply as you think. You're going to have to get in your gut too. The body, the mind, and the spirit have to align. And really have fun, enjoy. And I want to turn it over to my colleague Jay Vogt, who's the process man. Thank you.